Welcome back to Free Media. I'm Robby Soave.
And I'm Amber Duke.
Well, during his address to Congress on Tuesday evening, President Trump touted his efforts to eradicate censorship, declaring free speech is back. And he also praised Elon Musk for his work on Doge. Let's watch.
But we're going to find out where that money's going. And it's not going to be pretty. By slashing all of the fraud, waste, and theft we can find, we will defeat inflation, bring down mortgage rates, lower car payments and grocery prices, protect our seniors, and put more money in the pockets of American families. And to that end, I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Perhaps you've heard of it. Perhaps. Which is headed by Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight.
He also declared that the days of unelected bureaucrats are over, which drew applause and laughter by some Democrats, many noting that this one didn't land as hard with Elon in the crowd. Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy wrote, quote, "Gotta admit this one didn't quite land since Elon is basically co-president." Let's watch what Trump said.
It's very simple. And the days of rule by unelected bureaucrats are over.
I even missed that there was laughter about this line because I was just so happy to hear it said because I also want the unelected bureaucrats to stop ruling. And I was arguing with Marianne Williamson.
I just watched that segment.
Yes, co-hosting Rising with me and is very much on this. It's been a coup by unelected people. And I'm like, well, that's your perspective. My perspective, and I think this is broadly your perspective as well, is that the coup was when all of this policy making was taken over by a vast and unaccountable federal bureaucracy that is not itself democratic on any level and does business as usual no matter who is in charge. In fact, under Trump administration 1, there was a lot of continuity of many of the same ruinous, either just federal bureaucratic policies or even continuation from neoconservatism, which Trump had ran against, but didn't at that time know how to fit or how to change the system, because it's hard to fight this really entrenched bureaucracy. Now they're actually fighting it. I don't know, that's a coup, it's a counter coup. It's just to restore democratic accountability, I would argue.
Yeah, I heard someone recently say, and I wish I could give them credit here, but I can't recall who it was, but they said this is not a revolution, it's a counter-revolution. Yeah. And I think that's right. And I also heard Marianne say that, well, these people who are making the regulations, the unelected bureaucrats, are experts, essentially. Yeah. And they're not. They're not actually experts. I mean, that's sort of the whole conceit of the left-wing project to remake the bureaucracy, which is that you actually have a bunch of people in these positions who have no tangible knowledge about the things that they're making regulations about. I mean, we could start with COVID. I don't want to get you off on a tangent, but these people claimed that Anthony Fauci was science when it came to making policies related to the pandemic. It turned out he's not an epidemiologist, which is what they were criticizing Trump's outside advisors for, and had no relevant experience for handling coronavirus or anything of that nature. Was going entirely based on what he did during the AIDS epidemic, which is a functionally different kind of virus. But then if you look at the Loper Bright case that came in front of the Supreme Court last term, right? You had these fishermen who showed up and said that the EPA had created this regulation related to fishing maximums of how many fish you're allowed to actually catch based on how many are in the water. And in order to stay under that maximum and make proper regulation, you had to have a monitor on board of your boat, which, by the way, the fishermen had to pay for, not the government. But the people they were putting on these boats to monitor the fish were like 22-year-olds who did a week's worth of training and then stood on the boat and were supposed to count the number of fish they could see in the water. And that was informing the entire regulatory project related to fishing. And meanwhile, the fishermen are like, I've been doing this for 30 years. My dad was a fisherman. My granddad was a fisherman. But this snot-nosed brat bureaucrat is going to tell me how many fish I'm allowed to catch? It's insane.
It's insane. It's stuff like that all the time. Try to install solar panels. If you want to be green, try to install solar panels on your own house. Find out the regulations you have to go to get from local authorities to sign off on that. People are over-policed in just their daily lives by this vast regulatory apparatus that makes it so much more difficult to start businesses, to build homes, to go about your day. People are sick and tired of it. We can't even grapple with it. It's so vast and confusing. And that is what they are trying to get rid of. And that, I wish that would take, as I've said many times, and we've discussed in numerous segments, more complementary behavior from Congress would be good on this. It's not, ideal to have Elon just doing it all himself with his small team, although I would point out that Elon and his small team of people have transformed so many successful, large, giant businesses in terms of space travel and green technology and social media that he's clearly onto something. But he's the one just identifying these areas for reform, and then Congress needs to actually operate on it.
Yeah, and one of the other things I wanted to mention, because I went on a rant on this show about how Trump needs to get rid of the ridiculous regulations in regards to appliances and utilities, toilets, showers, washing machines.
I just want dry clothes.
Right? I just want good water pressure in my shower. Yes. And I'll spend less time in there, we'll save water. And actually, Trump is undoing those Biden
I
orders.
did see that. I thought of you.
Thank you, Trump. I asked and you delivered.
He's probably a fan of free media.
Probably.
And in fact, he also said last night that for every one regulation they add, they were going to get rid of not 2, not 3, 10. 10 regulations. So I think that's very, very exciting. Very exciting news. That's all for today, but tomorrow we'll have even more free media. See you back here then.